Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on July 6th, and this week joining me once again to discuss the news is Gerrt. So you can say hello, Gerrt.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's always a good time to be here on Tuesday morning.
Indeed. So the following week after anniversary was expected to be mostly a filler week, but we're getting snoblenka and Ridar. So what do you think, Gerrt? Is this a filler week? Or is this, everyone's got to recharge their lapis to go for these units? What do you think?
I think it's kind of funny because a lot of people were assuming that this was going to be like maybe like a split off of the Type Zero, and maybe we're going to get Cater. And instead, here we are getting the some completely different units.
Mm-hmm. The season forecast, Snavlenka and Ritter, and then of course the upgraded Kalmia, who is for the most part ignorable.
hmm
So the banners, nothing special here. There's no real perks for it. You get a guaranteed Ritter or Snavlenka on the end. What are your thoughts on this format? They've actually done this a few times in the past, where you get a 50-50 of one of the two banner units. Do you kind of like this, Gert? Like, the good chance of getting, I guess, 1 and 2 of the unit you want if you're going for one, or, what are your thoughts on this?
I think these are best when you definitely want both of them. So, like, the one that stands out in my mind that I was excited about this for was the original Near banner, because you were either going to get one or the other, and then you could go pull on each of their split banners to get the one you wanted if you didn't get the one. But this has just both of them on there. And when you look at them side by side, actually look at their kits, there's a very clear winner between the two of like which one you would want. I guess that would depend on what you have available to you, but like to me, it's like the best of the two is Snavlenka. But I could go either way on these. I could go either way.
Okay. So there's the banner. So the unit, Snavlenka, she is the Earth leader. We're getting back to the elemental leaders. We had, Deoxys, Zac, Squall, etc. I didn't even look if they upgraded her leader skill. Did you check, Kurt? It should be listed on it right here.
It doesn't look like it.
They did not. Okay, so what are your thoughts on them just going back to 500? I guess she's not premium, which I suppose is the reason. Because Squall was, but so was Zac, and he got nothing.
Yeah. I think that at this point, them taking a step backwards and not doing, at least, 700 or 750 or something like that it's just an odd take when you've got big broad categories like Warrior of the or Blessing of the Crystals or whatever Aces is called. It's like it's just weird to see it, especially when you have the reality that Earth is just not a great element in Global. It's just it's a sad, and hers is one of the ones like that is it's heavily offense, so if you happen to have a defense or spirit unit that wants to benefit from this leader skill, they're just not going to in the same way as the attack and magic units. And even further, FFBE season 4 is a really tiny category, so like yeah.
Yeah, Earth or Season 4 units. The top of my head, the only one I can think of that even is wanting to be relevant would be Yuffie, the premium Yuffie, and she's got like Zac as well if she really wanted to get into it.
Maybe if you're really stretching, the new Roka, the Dark Lineage Roka, just because she does have a 150 amp, but yeah, it's not, yeah.
Yeah, so really the entire purpose of these two units in JP was just to give you a way to complete all the missions on the Evil Princess trial, the Reverse Chamber of Arms. Because there's the mission to beat that with only Season 4 units, and to do that mission, you basically need Snavlenka and Ridar.
And we don't have that content.
Yeah, it's like Global shoots themselves in the foot by skipping, like that is the only purpose to Snavlenka and Ridar, is to do the Evil Princess with all the missions. If you take that away, which Global did, like, why are we even caring about Snavlenka and Ridar?
Because you obviously want to use her to buff up your Tsukiko.
Oh, geez, that is true. So the unit, she's like a generic DPS. Her damage is okay. It's not super great, but it's not bad or anything. Her vision card is right here. Again, it's just a generic vision card. It is Brave Expia series, so it's more units apply, but it's still nothing special.
It's also shared between them.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get a whole bunch of these depending on how many of these units you get.
Mm-hmm. Now, this week, we do have a large amount of skipped content, global specialty of skipping or delaying content. And the thing missing is the proper Earth vision card. So this was like the filler vision card. And then Snoblenka week added the 170, 500 flat Earth card, like the Deoxys card, the Zac card, etc. Now, because Snoblenka was not premium in JP, and the same thing going forward with the Wind card from Zidane, the Ice card from the new, not the ice, the Water card from the new Roos, etc. Because they're not premium units, but they do bring the 170 cards. They added those cards in JP to the random gotcha pool. For example, you know how when you pull any Neo, you get just a random freebie card?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, those cards were added to that pool, so you could just randomly out of nowhere get the 170 Earth card, and then later the Wind, the Water, etc.
Oh.
Global's apparently not adding these, so we're just not getting a period, I guess.
Isn't in JP though that's true of all cards? Like you can get any card off of any Neo, like
any non-premium, non-limited card. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's weird. I guess they would need a different way of handling that if since we have a different system.
They absolutely would, and I do agree. I did not expect them at all to add that to the pool, because our pool of random cards is a pool of like 9, 12.
Mm-hmm.
On JP, it's a pool of 150. So, the chance of getting the card is 1% or something. On Global, it'd be like, 18%, or I don't know, I'm bad at math. But the point is, I didn't expect them to add it to that pool. What I did expect is them to add it to, just like Elena, an EX3 reward for Snoblenka.
I would think that. I mean, just sticking it on a banner is too good, But yeah, putting it on Snoblenka or Ridar at EX3 would make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a precedent for it.
Mm-hmm. Or, for example, making it the final step reward of their step up. That wouldn't be great because the whales can't get 6 copies, etc. But just getting it somehow, instead of just cutting the content entirely, which is what we're doing. They may add it in the future down the road, but it's certainly not coming when we expect it, which is supposed to be, the big, we're bringing Earth back with Snoblenka, Ridar, Tulian, Roka, etc. And the Earth card is just missing in action.
So I'm seeing here that she's an SLB. How does her Sword in Peril stack up to like Flaring Ether Rain?
Good question. I don't know, but I do have her page set up and ready to go. So Snoblenka, Sword in Peril is 40%.
Okay.
40%. So same as Reigns.
Okay. So if you're really wanting to go an Earth
Which
Sword
is,
team,
decent. Gerrtt, your microphone went out or mine did.
Okay.
I don't hear Gerrtt right now.
Did I lose
might have
you
lost
again?
him. Gerrtt. Okay, we're going to pause the video until we can fix the technical issues, so be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. A brief technical problem, but here we go again. So we were mentioning Sword in Perils, Gerrtt. So Snoblenka has 40%, the same as Rain.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, as far as the unit, like, she's just a generic DPS. She does have a few miscellaneous buffs in her kit, like she can buff 300 stats and mitigation to 1 unit. She can buff 400 stats to 1 unit. Kind of strange that it's 1 unit, not AoE, but yeah.
It's interesting that she can make somebody else evade 3 attacks.
Mm-hmm. Kind of strange.
And all these skills come at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange.
So yeah, she's the Earth leader. Other than that, not she's very 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 unremarkable. Especially if we don't have the princess trial to give her a purpose to even exist. ST bar is a weapon. TMR is generic, so not much there.
It does have nullify, stop, and charm on it though.
That's pretty nice. It's got both on one.
Sometimes that is coming in clutch.
But yeah, there it is. And then Ridar, the other Earth unit of the week. He's got the physical DPS tag. He's really not. He's basically a tank. He's a magic tank. So he does have one or two interesting things. He's got a single target 100% Earth amplify he can give to someone. Other than that, he's just like a worse version of Paladin Cecil, who is a worse version of Abigail, who is a worse version of, Elena. You get the idea. He's basically just like, when you're ranking the tanks, he's going to be like number 5 or 6. And other than that,
does he have an Omni cover as well?
Yeah, he's got it on a 6-turn cooldown. So same as Elena, same as Cecil, etc. But yeah, that's like kind of all there is to say about Ridar. He's an Earth tank. He can give someone a 100 amp, and that's it. He's a Season 4 magic tank, and again, he's the only Season 4 magic tank, which was his whole purpose, was to tank for you during the Princess trial. And that's it. That's his only purpose. And the trial doesn't exist on global.
Great.
I mean...
So we don't... What you're saying is we don't need it right this moment.
Yeah, and here's his, a 10-turn cooldown, single target Earth amplify of 100% for one ally.
Yeah. He does, I think I saw in there, he's got a killer buff for Fairy.
Oh yeah, let's look real quick. So this is Ridar's page. He's got like one or two miscellaneous things.
He's got some racial mitts for against machines and fairies. He's got some killers, not great killers, but they're there.
Oh, I forgot about this. He does have a 35 in Peril Field. So that's slightly interesting. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm just realizing this is probably why. We didn't get to this yet, but apparently we're skipping Roka and Tulian's upgrades. They probably are trying to push you to pull for stupid Ridar because one of the upgrades being skipped is an Imperil Field. And so I guess they think if we get the Roka upgrade, then we won't pull for Ridar. Oh my god. I'm just realizing that's why they're skipping Roka, because they think it's going to make Ridar sales better. How do you feel about this stupidity? This pisses me off, Gerrt. This really does.
I mean, joke's on them, because we just said that you don't need the unit because the trial that you need the unit for doesn't exist.
And oh my god. I really get frustrated with the global servers sometimes. I really do. My lord. It's irritating. And then Kalmia, the New Vision's Awakened. So she's basically just a better healer when being awakened. That said, she's a dedicated healer, and how often do you use those? Ever.
Very rarely these days.
And
now, though, her one niche thing though is like zombie removal, right?
Yeah, she's got the single target zombie removal. So I think she can only multicast it or double cast it. So technically, she could across 3 different turns remove, the party's zombie on the Ethne fight, and then of course the Ethne does it every 3 turns, so it'd be reapplied by the time she finishes.
she would be busy for those first 3 turns, but yes, she could do it.
Yeah, but other than that, like. This is one of those units like you'll create for the bonus of the Mog event, and then you'll never see her again. Yeah. So that's her.
All right. And she's a Brave Shift. Now she's not an SLB, so that's exciting.
Trance Shift, but yeah. It's a 2-turn cooldown, 2-turn duration, 4-turn cooldown.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just not really going to use her honestly. Like if you seriously need a healer, it'll be one of the 50 other better global versions.
Mm-hmm.
And Vision card, we already mentioned that we're skipping the Earth card, of course. The event is just a farming event. Not much to say. Please set a Season 4 bonus unit before the maintenance for your friends. Other than that, some kind of whatever gear.
So these are all items that we've gotten before.
Oh, is it? I didn't even notice.
I believe they are. Like, I know we have the Hip Flask and the Chimeric Dagger. I feel like we have the Elmont Sword as well. It makes me wonder. I feel like they've been doing that a lot lately, where they rerun, you know, kind of low quality equipment that we've already had before.
Yeah. Well, there it is. If you didn't get it the first time, you can get it the second time and still not use it.
Yeah.
And it's a farming event. Not much more to say about that. We do get some EX stages, though. So this one is the crafting stage. As usual, Global is probably going to be removing the Season 4 mission, so you can take literally anything and make it a joke. It's for snoblenka, 500 attack power helmet. Not quite as good as Clash gear, but it is nice to have more gear you can spread around the party.
Especially with killers.
Mm-hmm. Human and machine, yep.
And those killers don't seem like they are stuck to just snoblenka, so you know, that's pretty useful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then the crown stages. So these are until we eventually get the permanent thing. These are time limited. So this one is for Tyvis. He's getting upgrades as well as Tulian. This is also for his 150 Amplify, so you really do want to get this if possible before it goes away. By memory in JP, this one was a little tricky. I don't specifically recall if this was one of the harder ones or not, but it is Season 4 locked only, and that is a very, very narrow category. So keep that in mind. If you don't have Tyvis, then good luck. He's like the only DPS of Season 4.
Yeah, for real.
So Global has been like back and forth on this, where sometimes they allow you to take a friend unit, other times they don't. Do you think they're going to nerf it on Global by allowing a friend unit?
I think that this one being such a narrow category, that they may allow us to bring a friend unit, but maybe not. I mean, I could see it, but I could see that going both ways, because if it's narrow but it's tuned around having 5, then they don't need to worry about it. Especially because, I mean, I never tried to get Tyvis, and I still have an EX3 Tyvis. So, like, it's not... If you've been playing for a while, chances are good you've at least got, you know, an EX1 Tyvis, you know, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. I could see them doing either. I just hope they do leave it locked to Season 4, because while it's fun sometimes to go in there with your 2B and wipe out, you know, the thing in one turn, like, it's also no challenge whatsoever.
Yeah, it does say Season 4 exclusive, but then again, so did the... there was some very recent fight that was also locked. It was Blessing of the Crystals only, but Global took away that filter from the friend category. So, like, your own units could only be blessed. I think it was on Ace's banner.
Yes.
Yeah, so your own units could only be blessings, but you could take literally any friend unit you wanted, no matter what the category it was. And, of course, you just take an Ibarra and one-shot it.
Yes. Yes. Perfect game is perfect.
And then the other one is for Tulian. Basically same thing. Season 4 only. It's for his crowns. And yeah, that's him as well. So let's go over the unit upgrades themselves. So first of all, we are missing 2 out of the 4 upgrades this week. So it was, you know, on this update, it was supposed to be Tyvis, Tulian, Roka, Madame Adele. Those were the 4 upgraded units. Now, skipping Madame Adele is still a skip, but I don't think that one is kind of a big deal, because she was completely worthless before the upgrades and still completely worthless after the upgrades. They did not do anything for her.
And this would be her second batch of updates, isn't it? Because I feel like she had crowns before.
Yep, she did.
Yeah.
Yep, and they went and did another round of her on JP, trying to, like, you know, fix her. Didn't work. Didn't work.
Okay.
But Roka, on the other hand, Roka was an amazing upgrade. They gave her 100 amplify, they gave her a field, they gave her bigger killers. Like, she became a really good earth support because this is, this is the earth banner. You're supposed to be getting earth in. So you had Snoblenka, the earth DPS, Ridar, the earth tank. You had the upgraded tooling for your earth breaker, which he is also missing upgrades. We'll get to that in a minute. And then you had Roka, the upgraded earth buffer. Like, it was a whole synergistic earth party. And they're taking away the earth buffer. Probably, like, I swear it's got to be because Roka's field was an Imperil field, and they're trying to push Ridar. That's got to be the reason.
Well, I wonder too. Like, we have Sylvie and we have Tsukiko, who do fields and really good earth support. So, like, we kind of don't need that, but at the same time, like, who cares? Just give us what's already, like, you probably put more effort into removing it from the banner than you did just letting it exist.
Exactly. And we saw that with Lauren, where Lauren accidentally was completely upgraded one day on Global because they forgot to remove it. Like, and that kind of proved to us that by them just keeping their hands away, these upgrades will come as they copy JP data, and it takes them more manpower, more effort, more work to go in and uncode and remove this copy paste data and nerf the units. And so they're creating extra work for themselves. They already say they're overworked. They got to cut support for new languages, etc., or old languages, because they're overworked. And they're adding more work to go in and take away unit upgrades from patches. And that is just the most ass-backwards way to run this game. And that's what they do. And it's annoying. It's annoying.
Hey, but we get Clash of Wills.
It's true. It's true. And Clash of Wills, I'm glad for. I love Clash of Wills. But just stop taking away the unit upgrades from JP. My God.
Yeah, just I love getting these upgrades, especially for older units that are, like, sometimes just fun to use for one reason or another, or, like, because there's some nice synergy, and, like, it's just nice to get a little bump, and, like, hey, it's still fun that you have left yet, whatever. But, like, I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Very, very. Now, as far as the upgrades themselves, like I mentioned, Tyvis does get Elemental Burst Fire. You've got to beat the EX stage to get it. I'm not sure what this ability is. Basically, he basically does more damage. That's the end of the story. He's got more stats, more damage, higher modifiers, 150 amp, etc. As far as does Tyvis become like a meta fire damage dealer, I did calculate him from JP. I forgot what it was. He was like up there, but not at the top. So for like an EX3 premium budget DPS, he's still worth using, but if you've got the best of the best, he's probably not going to make the cut.
Not going to replace your Dwayne then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Tulian, again, gets more upgrades, gets, I forget what all they are, like, it does add more damage to him, but his damage is still nearly irrelevant. He's basically still just a breaker. But the one thing that made Tulian really good was his Vidar was upgraded in JP. That's his special bracer from the story mode that gives him his 89 break. That was upgraded on this week to give a amplify field as well. And that is apparently also being taken away from the patch. We are not getting his Vidar upgrade, which basically means he's not getting his field.
He's losing a lot of damage off of that.
The whole party.
Oh yeah. So Roka had the Imperil field and he had the Amplify field. That's gonna leave us a little salty.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really frustrating. Also, I forgot to mention real quick, Tyvis, his leader skill is being upgraded. It becomes 300% for all Season 4 and all Fire units. Only 300, but it's an okay-ish budget option.
Okay. So he's like Diet Flaring Ether Rain.
Pretty much, yep. And there we go. So, we're getting half the upgrades this week, and even some of the ones we are getting, like Tulian, are being nerfed because we're not getting his field. So, yay. And then we're getting some upgrades to the Steel Coin Exchange. That's the item world. This is not the big item world update we're looking forward to. This is just some new weapons. So these weapons, are these good, Gerrtt? Are these, ignorable? What do you think?
So I think for new players, all three of these actually do serve kind of a nice purpose. The sword, it's two-handed. It's got fairly high attack, nullifies some immunity or some statuses. And then the next one, the Cold Tyrant Blade, is a one-handed spirit sword. Potentially useful for magic tanks that we've gotten recently. And then the one that I'm most interested in here is the Fist, Bird Killer Plus on a one-handed weapon, a one-handed magic weapon. Could be useful if you've got like a Nora. I think all three of them have a place in the game right now, especially for new players, which is anniversary time. They draw in new players, and these are all good pickups if you can get one.
For sure. And then all three of them do have special enchantments that are better than the usual stuff. This one, what happened here? This is not much better than the usual stuff.
Yeah, you can get that.
It's kind of...
But the next one, Challenge of Strength. I mean, it's magic true dual wield 50% on a weapon. So
pretty good.
A one-handed one at that. So.
And then the Vision Card Select update is being updated. So you said this was up until Dwayne, I think. Was it, Gerrtt?
Yeah, so this is between Sacred Knight, Silent Knight Charlotte, and Fina the Return. So everything between there except for the Clash of, for like the limited ones like Cleome is not on the list. But all the other ones are. So like you can see Open Heart, Open Home from Melissa's on there. Dance of the Drone from Abigail is on there. Lots of good stuff there.
And yeah, this one specifically to point out is basically like the upgraded version of Sylvie's card for morale. So if you're looking for, honestly, not even really a budget option, this is just a really good option for morale, period, in Clash of Wills if you're not on your support units. Because it casts 400 a turn. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the only
I enjoy these. I enjoy these just because if you're like me and you've never gotten a Melissa, you can now go in and get her card.
You've never pulled a Melissa, Gerrtt?
Never. I have never pulled a Melissa.
Oh my god! So she has to be your free pick, right, from the replica Lapis.
That's my current plan. Yeah.
Nice.
Depending on how the 70 pulls go.
Oh, speaking of the 70 pulls, they are apparently fixed for real this time. I did not get another 70 pull today.
Yep.
Yeah, so no more daily 70. What do you think they're going to do about that? The compensation. Do you think they're going to be able to tell who pulled and who didn't, and then like individually compensate specifically, or like what are your predictions on how they're going to handle that?
In the news bulletin, they said they're going to look at compensation for players who did not pull. So that to me says that they somehow can tell who did and who didn't. And my hope is that they just give everybody who didn't pull 70 blue EX tickets or something like that per day that they didn't pull on it. Like I don't know. But I mean I assume they can tell. They could tell when. I guess it's probably easier to tell whether what service you're logged in through, but when they had the big Facebook lockout thing, they could tell who was logged in through Facebook and who wasn't, and they compensated them all individually and whatnot. So they can see all that stuff on the back end.
Okay, be interesting to see how they handle it. And then the only other bit of new news is we did get the bulletin for July, so we can get a preview of some stuff coming. So July's Clash of Wills, which will probably be near the end of the month, it's a Avian, Demon, Fairy, weak to Wind, Light, and Ice. So as soon as this bulletin popped up in the news, everyone in Discord started saying it's going to be Malphasy for the unit. So do you think it's going to be Malphasy for the unit, Gerrtt, based on this race and all?
It seems like it. She never really specifically had Fairy Killer. Fairies, like anything in her kit, and nor did she have light. She had dark, but she did have wind and ice. So I mean, I could see it, but I could also see them bait and switching us. I could also see them having two units and having one be Malphasy and one be one that's going to help us out with fairy support, or just ditch the fairy support altogether because we've had recent units that do fairy support. So I could see them just not worrying about it, and yes, having it yes be Malphasy.
Mm-hmm. And just something I'm noticing. How do you feel about the way they gave us Nora a lightning fire unit, and then immediately after her clash ended, we're now on the second clash in a row where there is no lightning, there is no fire, so Nora is just like, we pulled for her, and then she's forgotten.
I mean, they've definitely done that with other units too, but at least for, like, I'm going to use Tsukiko as an example. Her main is Earth, but she's also got Fire and Light, and Fire and Light have come up a bunch of times where Tsukiko has come just to provide those fields and do some chaining. Us losing that from Nora, and also in that sense Tsukiko, although Tsukiko's back this month, it's a little stingy for some people. I guess I don't really mind so much personally because I don't have Nora either. But I can see how people would be bothered by that for sure. I mean, we have not had an Earth Week enemy since Tsukiko, so.
Oh geez, and have we ever had a Water Week? I'm sure we have in the past 2 years or whatever, but.
Technically, Tiana's boss was weak against water and wind and light, I think.
Okay.
And Kaito's was too. Not Shenman. Maybe it was Shenman. I don't know. Kaito's was weak to water.
Okay. And then Dark Visions this month, so no Vision World obviously. So what they're apparently doing, if you go and compare to the JP version, this seems to be the exact sub bosses from Dark Visions. Let me look real quick. It was 33, I think. Yes. So it is the sub bosses from Dark Visions 33, the Dragon and the Undead. But they are changing the final boss to, based on this, AI preview, this seems to be the final boss from Dark Visions 34. So they're like merging Dark Visions 34 and 33. So I guess we're not getting the Dark Archon final boss, and I guess we're not going to get the rest of Dark Visions 34. So how do you feel about that, Gerrtt?
I'm not a huge Dark Visions buff, but there's definitely been times where they've like skipped them to like get us kind of caught up on the right rotation. It's weird that they're just merging them together. And usually when we have like usually the final boss is tuned or themed around some unit that we're getting. So like I'm noticing it's Insect, and I didn't notice a lot of Insect support in Snoblenka or Ridar. No. Although I guess it's not time for that. I guess if it's coming later in the month, it doesn't really matter. Maybe there'll be a good Insect unit coming later, but like...
Yes, do you know who the good Insect unit was? The good Insect buffer, and then that also gave us the 100 Insect killer materias? It was Sheraton from the Chamber of Arms that we skipped.
How about that? I guess your next option down would be something like Ilmatal or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, like, see, I'm going to sound like a broken record, always complaining about the skipped content, but, like, it was designed for this freaking crap. Like, Sheraton came out, in the timeline 3 weeks previous or 4 weeks previous in order to give you the 100 Insect Killer for this Dark Vision, in order to give you an option for buffing, stuff like that, and they skip it! It's so frustrating.
We can't have nice free things.
Apparently not. Also, a bunch of people had speculated that they were going to do Dark Visions Abyss after the anniversary. Well, it's pretty obviously clear Dark Visions Abyss is not coming after the anniversary. At the very least, not during July. So, again, an entire game mode being skipped. So how do you feel about that?
That would have been something that would have been really exciting for them to talk about in, like, say, the anniversary live stream. But if they were even going to bring it out at all, I mean, they did talk about some other things, hinted at like some changes to like Clash of Wills and the like Steel Castle and other things. They definitely didn't talk about anything Dark Visions related. So that makes me kind of wonder if we're just not going to get it at all.
Yep. So that means, a whole game mode is missing. A bunch of cool bosses are going to be missing. The unit, Black Blade, Phoenix, Hyo is going to be missing. Just missing. Skipped. We love it. And that is pretty much it for the game content of the week. But before we end it, though, Gerrtt, you're planning to host, in the previous 2 years, we've had Flip Method, who a lot of people have seen had hosted, this big fan event. Is stream only with, a bunch of people from the community, games, etc. Flip wasn't able to do it this year, but this year you're going to be hosting it, right, Gerrtt? So you want to tell people about it so they can be aware?
Yeah, that'd be great. Flip asked me to kind of take over this year, and we were putting together the event is going to be not this coming Saturday, but actually next Saturday, the 15th. It's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we've got it's going to be a smaller scale event than usual, but also I think still going to be fun and definitely good chats and stuff like that. Talking about stuff that's just gone on in the past year, and definitely having some fun and some games too. I mentioned in a post recently that I wouldn't be surprised if I popped a balloon or ate something spicy just for kicks. But I'm not going to be maybe quite so campy. But I'm really looking forward to it. I really love chats. I just a couple hours ago spent like an hour and a half talking to Sketch about about watching somebody else's polls, and I love these. I just love chats and interaction with people. So for me, it's cool just to get a bunch of people together and all just kind of nerd out about the game.
And if you're looking for more information on the stream, Gerrtt did a big post outlining it on Reddit, so you can search that. I think you named it 7th anniversary unofficial stream, so you can search that. You find it on Reddit, and that'll give you more information, and that'll be on July 15th.
Yeah.
But okay, that's pretty much it for this week. Mostly a filler week. Clash of Wills still going on. Anniversary still going on for the next 3 months. But
it's kind of weird, and I feel like there's a couple things missing from this year's anniversary, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but I miss slots to Chocobo.
Oh God, I don't miss that. I do think the anniversary is lacking this year, but it is not because we're missing the Chocobo game.
We're missing that. We're missing a really cool login screen where it showed last year they had you were on the airship and the fireworks were going off. We're missing that. We're missing the slots if you like the slots. I mean, but there's also, other than the story event and the Clash of Wills, there's just nothing that says, hey, log in and play this game every day. You do the story event once you clear Clash of Wills, unless you're a masochist and like to make 500 different teams because people beg you to. You're not really doing Clash of Wills once you beat it. So it just feels like there's not a whole lot to log in and do. Even with the Addison Rae collab, there was no corresponding event that you could log in and do and get her shards. You just have to log in every day. There's just it feels a little lacking in terms of the content part to me.
Yep. For me, the biggest thing missing from the anniversary would be unit. I'm a huge unit guy. I love units. And for me, unit upgrades are missing. The only thing we got is a complete joke of an 11x modifier for Ibarra and a 20x modifier for 2B. That was the big unit upgrades of the anniversary. Was it last year or the year before? Esther got totally overhauled. And then a different year, we had all these intrinsics for Sky. Those units, I forgot the whole list, but it was amazing. Units got revived and brought back from the dead, and that was amazing. Everyone loved it. People talked about those intrinsics 9 months down the road. The next day, people even forgot that Ibarra had an 11x modifier buff, and that was the extent of our buffs for the anniversary.
To be fair, she didn't really need a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It is cool. She is also getting synergy with Elena though.
Ugh. And you know the one who did need it was Wilk. Wilk got nothing, and so did so many other units. Tiana is the biggest waste of space ever. Cleome needs like some big fixes. Like we've got Eldrin, his upgrades did absolutely nothing. Shui Yu, her upgrades did absolutely nothing. Like we've got so many global units that could use some touch-ups, and global just does nothing. Yigni is completely dead in the water. Like he was bad from day one. And yeah, it's just global just doesn't do anything about that kind of stuff.
It would be really cool to see some of those units just get a little touch, just a little bump.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, thanks again for joining me, Gerrtt.
Of course, always glad to be here.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye.